Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Work Boss podcast where we share best practices in the workplace and how you can do things differently. Hi, I'm Natasha from the growth marketing team here at altHR. And today I'm joined here with Emilia, who is the managing director of Q3 Management Solutions, to discuss how to manage your team through a hybrid work model. So let me bring her on real quick. Hi, Emilia.
Hi, Natasha. Hello, how
Okay.
are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. Okay. So yeah, this is Emilia. She's the managing director of Q3 Management Solutions. And maybe you want to give a little bit of an introduction on what Q3 Management Solution is.
Okay, thank you, Natasha, for this opportunity. So basically, I'm a managing director of the company called Q3 Management Solutions from Berhad. Our company basically providing the business and management consultancy to our clients, focusing on human resource and corporate governance. So when we talk about business and management consulting, I think everyone knows that during a pandemic, there's so many changes, as particularly in the management of the officers, management of business, and that's where we quite tight during this pandemic or even though post-pandemic, whereby the companies start to move forward, looking into a new way of working. I think that's what the topic that we're going to talk about today, right?
Yes, correct, correct. That's why I think it's very suitable for you to be a guest topic because you know so much about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. So
Yeah.
maybe we can just go in with like a definition of what a hybrid work model is and how
Yeah.
currently is quite a workplace trend because a lot of people are
Mhm.
transitioning from a 5 day work week to maybe a 2 day work week, and then the rest of it is working from home. So maybe you can give a definition first.
Okay, when we talk about a hybrid work model, I think this is not something new. Natasha, a hybrid work model has been, like, I think, in the industry for many many years. The only difference is back then people do not talk about hybrid. You know,
Mm.
those company or those company who practicing this, or even though those employee like myself, I think about 10 years ago, I also have the opportunity, to enjoy this hybrid working model in my previous organization. But because of the pandemic, hybrid, or people say work from home, suddenly become a boom, become the hype, and something that people keep talking about. And if we really look into it, it's not something new. Something new, yeah,
Mm.
whereby you do not really actually sit in the office 9 to 5. So something that when we talk about hybrid work model, this is something also after pandemic, whereby after, I think, most company actually has spent their time working from home. I think people work from home, and they find that maybe somehow work from home cannot be have like 100% of it, so let's go and come back to office, but in the gradual mode, or maybe like you said just now, half or 2 days work in the office, and the rest actually you can actually work at home or anywhere else that you think fit. So this is what when the hybrid work model come into place, whereby the company or the organization embrace, the absent of workers
Mm.
physically in the office. Yeah, and they have to actually embark into other method of communicating, managing your employees and so on.
Mm, yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting that you actually came up with the idea of it's actually not a very new thing, which is true actually. A lot of freelancers also sometimes they do come into the office, but it's not a 5 day work week. So I think it's more about more people talking about it and more people going through it. That's
Yes,
why it's
and now they have term for it. I
mm,
remember those days when I still have my children still small. Natasha, once in a while, as a parent, we have
mm,
some domestic issue whereby maybe maid ran away, or
mm,
your small kids having fever and all that. So during that time, I remember when I always text my boss, said, I work from home today. I
mm,
remember those words, and my boss will reply, and my ex boss will reply and say, "Cool."
mm. Understand?
And,
Yeah.
and I must say that with that kind of working environment really helped me to have a positive working environment during that time.
Mm.
And even I can say I can basically balance up my role as a mother, as the as a manager. And in fact, I think I have to credit the success where I am today to that work from home, or what we call it a flexible, or you can call it hybrid work model. Because once we have balance in this, in these two, either you work in office or you work at home. Basically, as a woman myself, I feel that this really help in terms of my career growth.
Yeah, definitely. And since we were talking about how you had the experience of working from home even way before the pandemic, yeah,
Yeah.
we also can talk about how what do you think, do you think it's actually quite an efficient way of working for the long run, not just like a certain period of time, whether do you think it's helped with your overall work productivity when you have this hybrid work model?
All right. Thank you for that question again, Natasha. I think when we talk about how is it efficient way to work or
Mm,
not, there's a lot. There's a like two school of thought of that.
mm,
Yes or no. So I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'm going to actually talk about the advantage. I think the advantage and disadvantage of either we want to actually apply this hybrid work model in our organization or not. Because as an employer myself, I also have my personal view, my personal observation in how we apply hybrid work model, especially where after pandemic. So the
mm,
advantage that I can see in this workplace, or what you call it hybrid workplace model, number one, I think I did mention just now, Natasha, increase
mm,
the productivity. Because when we have as a workers, or I think when the workers have the flexibility in the time that actually they manage between work and of course time with the families or other thing, particularly when I think during pandemic, and now even now the schools who do not like full time, yeah, at school, right, this like still have like shift A, shift
mm,
D, team A, team B at school. So when they can actually manage or they utilize their time, they can choose what is the possible time, they can really focus and really focus on the what they're supposed to do. And the other time that they might actually spend to manage their own personal issue, whereby they can actually
mm,
separate these two. Just
mm.
imagine when they have this physically in the office, but their mind have maybe somewhere else because they need to
Correct.
actually solve certain thing. It doesn't
Mm,
help anyway. I think the second thing that when they have they can choose, yeah, they can choose. And you know how bad this traffic jam in Malaysia. I think from my home is very near, but sometimes because of the traffic jam,
mm,
yeah. Number one,
mm,
of course, is slow down our movement to drive,
mhm,
even if we want to reach the office at sharp at 9 o'clock. Number
mm.
two, because sometimes when you stuck in the jam, that also really change your mood on that day, yeah,
Correct.
that morning. So
Mm,
with this hybrid work model, the employee can actually manage their time. Maybe they say, okay, instead of coming at 9 o'clock, I might come maybe after 10, after
okay.
10, just to complete what is necessary in the office. Somehow office or working in the office still needed, because some of the document, or maybe they need to actually to do certain things that require them to be in the office. They can just spend their time and focus on doing that and come back and do whatever that they need to do at home or anywhere else. Or they also can actually spend their time, like what you mentioned just now, Natasha, 2 days just focus on what is actually
Mm,
needed, to do all this physical thing in the office, and I spend the rest do all this calling and all this from home. That is one of the advantage. And of course, because of that, we will achieve our employee engagement happiness index if let's say completely go for it, right? We can see
mm,
because when they can be themselves, for example, right?
mm,
I'm pretty sure in the office, not everyone are very comfortable wearing office attire. For example, some
mm,
people they really really natural type of people. I just want to wear my my track, my t-shirt. So when
mm,
they can actually work in the most comfortable and convenient way that they can work, that also can boost up their morale in actually
mm.
working. working and being productive for the organization. And of course, I think the most important, the office, we do not have to have big office now.
Correct.
Yeah, from the for the employer perspective, last time we used to have like, if we have 50 staff, we need to at least have enough place, all the employee that we have, including, just imagine after pandemic, right? We including these distances that we really need to take care of, social distances, this all these 3W and kind of that. But now we do not have to think so much, because half or maybe half of the employees already at home. So this is something that we can look into when we talk about the advantages of actually working, hybrid work model. But when we talk about the other side of it, yeah, of course, when there is an advantage, it's always have this advantage of it. The reason why I say this, because I remember during the pandemic, because we work from home. My office actually work from home. I think after some time, because we stuck at home about 3 months, right? Then after that, gradually the company start to be operating. I received text from my employee and said, "Can I come to office?" I say, "Why you want to come to office?" Because everyone work from home. Because this happens sometimes. Not everyone actually have a spacious home. That really allow them to be comfortable. Like I said just now, convenience and all that. Say, can I at least come back to office? I can actually work that alone. So they still want they don't mind to actually work in the office because they want a comfortable and convenient. So maybe office is part of the can really motivate that employee. So there's always two sides, right? Some people say I want to stay at home. Some people say I want to go out, get out from the house, at least once in a while. So but when what things that actually I noted from home, that maybe I think later we're going to discuss this further, right? The burnout. I realized that during this, the pandemic time, there's a lot of workers basically burn out, because the time that normally work in the office 9 to 6 does not apply when they actually work at home.
Correct.
Yeah, and people start complaining. You say, "Well, no, my boss keep calling me after office hour. I do not have time to eat. Whereby in the office I have 1 to 2, and so on and so on." So this also can be one of the, what we call it, I can say, one of the disadvantage of having this hybrid work, because people do not see, or maybe some manager do not see the contribution by the employee, because I don't see you, basically you are not working. So that is but it's, I don't say that it cannot work in organization, but when we want to work this hybrid work model, something else need to be changed in the organization, Natasha.
Correct. I think when it comes to this new way of work, it takes two sides to help out each other.
Yes. You can't basically apply the traditional way into hybrid work model and hope that will work. No, it won't work, because every model that we choose, either a full time in the office or work from home or even hybrid work model, something need to change. The way that we manage the whole performance need to change. The way that we manage employees, employees relation or communication with employees need to change. And the way that we measuring, we talk measuring about performance, time, management, really need to change and really need to be looked into before we decide, okay, the company or the organization need to go for hybrid working model. If not, it's not going to work, and we will see lots of people turn to have this depression nowadays. Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, and you mentioned about how you have to measure and assess the whole hybrid work model from both the employee and employer side. So maybe you
Yeah.
can suggest certain ways that they could do that. So for example, it could be, online tools to keep track, or having more frequent one-on-ones with their managers. So maybe you can share a little bit on that.
Okay, when we talk about working model, I like to you when you ask this question. Number one, we need to actually before we actually accept, before we actually look into change into this work hybrid work model. Number one, we need to see what is our current condition now. When we do
Mm.
work before, is it 100% traditional work method by manual, or we already have like semi-auto, or where
Mm.
we want to actually go from here. Just to share what actually I've done with my company, I think some of my clients also done, right? For the first pandemic, when we actually stuck at home, Natasha, the first 3 months that we stuck at home, the first few things that I did for my company to look into what is the possible way for us to share the documents, the work method into one, because I think everyone normally when you do your work, you will save in your own desktop or laptop and so on, right? But during pandemic or during this hybrid work model, you can't do that because you have like half of them in the office, half of them work from maybe somewhere else. So there must be a touch point at the place whereby you share that document, so you do not have to have this face-to-face interaction. So
Mm.
tools is very, very important. When we talk about number one just now, two ways communication, right? Understanding
Mm.
between employee and employee. Second is about tools. We cannot deploy a hybrid work model without having the right tools. The right tools
Mm.
will support that. But if let's say we
Mm.
still have manual, the files still in the office, and that's when we're going to have we call it low performance. The reason why, because every time the customer call, we cannot answer because the file in the office. So that's
Mm.
I always believe that the company who really success in deploying a hybrid working model, when the company actually look to the right tools, either they actually go for cloud,
Mm.
they have the good devices, laptop that really can support this online conversation meeting. Or and for the employee, if you stay at home, you need to make sure that your your internet working, the place that very conducive, whereby you have space. If you have online meeting, we cannot hear other disruption at home. So it's going to work when there's a collaboration between these two. So
Mm.
what employer can do, because I'm myself an employer, right? I
Mm.
always see that how to understand these people, how to look into what people, to increase their productivities, and to increase their commitment to job. Now, once I actually, in order for me to have that fully commitment, I need to look into my policies, my
Mm.
internal policies. Now, this is something that I can share, Natasha. Not many company are revising their policies yet during pandemic and even post pandemic, because they thought, okay, so it's such easy, it just changed the workplace. Right
Mm.
now I'm in the office, tomorrow you're at home, but policy remain the same. No, it won't work
Mm.
that way. Now, working in the office and work a hybrid work model, or even a fully work from home, WFH,
Mm.
need revision in the SOP, because SOP, everyone, I thought every company SOPs actually stick to one, because that is
Mm.
work from office. We never
Mm.
thought that we have that, right, before. So
Mm.
now we need to have a separate, not separate, or at least some hybrid policy, whereby
Mm.
allowing people to understand their roles and responsible when they work in the office, when they actually having this hybrid work model. So that's
Mm.
number one. Number two, looking into, once actually you can motivate them, bring their full commitment into the company, you can actually look into the tools that been provided to the employee, because tools are very important to support them, right?
Mm.
And of course, the third one is actually to maintain that communication alive.
Mm.
Communication alive, I always say that is not about having Zoom every morning.
Mm.
I have every morning. I can tell you, Natasha, most of the people burn out because their meeting is more frequent
Mm.
than when they actually have face-to-face working interaction in the office. It's like
Mm.
every morning meeting, afternoon
Mm.
meeting, evening meeting. So when they really spend their time in working, after 6. That's how actually
Mm.
happen, right?
Correct.
So by having tools doesn't mean that tools we need to apply, apply the way that we work, traditionally. So even when we have tools, the culture need to change as well. How many
Mm.
times we need to actually have meeting? Is it once a
Mm.
week enough? Or we want to allow our employee to really actually work on their own by focusing on what they're supposed to do rather than to have them physical online, and maybe once a week everyone go back to office, let's go and do face to face meeting and update what we do, and for the
Mm.
rest entire week let them be by themselves. So this
Mm.
is the question that I think, as a company, as an employee, need to actually ask how
Mm.
frequent we need to communicate with them, how we going to build trust,
Mm.
with our employee in order to allow them to perform to their best.
Mm.
Because if let's say we do meeting at sharp at 9,
Mm.
and then after that another meeting after lunch, yeah, it does not help. I think
Mm.
everybody does not help the employer because it slow down your business processes.
Mm.
Also will not help the employee because they feel that they've been controlled.
Mm. Correct,
Hmm.
correct. Yeah, I think it's very interesting that you say it that way because I think maybe some people they might not realize that it really takes both sides to cooperate and also to communicate.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't say that okay, this is 100% employer's
Mm.
responsibility or
Mm.
100% employee responsibility to keep up their game, right, to
Mm.
achieve their performance. It's all about it's two-way communication.
Mm.
The company will not grow without employee. This one I think everyone knows. And
Mm.
for the employees, so they have to understand, in order for company to sustain and make sure there's a promising job for them, for the next day, next month, and next year. It needs a performance to be up to the game, so the
Mm.
company can sustain. So it's about collaboration. Doesn't matter who own the company.
Mm, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think this is I think people watching this video can definitely take some pointers out and adapt
Yeah.
to their own companies as well.
Yes, yes, I hope so. I hope so. And of course, come back when we say, okay, what the other tips, right? Once actually the
Mm.
policies, the tools, then after that communication, other than that, I think the vision and mission need to really focus on what, because maybe sometimes somehow when the company or the business management has changed, yeah, the way the company operation have changed, that somehow they also going to impact the vision and mission, and of the company. From that you can see what is the expectation, the expectation towards the organization, how the organization want to change, where they want to go, and these need to be communicate out, right?
Mm.
So because this, once actually the communication is very very important. Yeah,
Mm.
once we actually communicate the expectation out, we will also start to look what the employee actually need for us to support. Like for example, like just now I said tools, right? Other
Mm.
than that, maybe we can look into the compensation benefit. I have a lot of inquiry from companies, how to manage their compensation benefit during this time. And I think some of the company also have these some challenges. For example, they used to give transportation allowance.
Mm. Okay.
Right. Okay. I give you an example. But
Mm.
during this, hybrid working, they are no longer traveling as frequent as it is.
Mm. Correct.
Now,
Yeah.
of course, for some employee, they still want that because know that there is the what you call it, additional income that they have. So some company will come to me say, "How are we going to manage this?" I said, like I said just now, I said policy must be revised
Mm.
accordingly. Now,
Mm.
maybe now they no longer actually need transportation, but they need internet to support their
Mm.
work at home.
Mm.
So there's always way to compensate or to motivate them. Maybe you don't want, now you are no longer actually giving that, but the same amount of budget you can actually convert to giving them, the support in terms of it's meant, subscribe, being the the best internet for them to basically be able to work, for the company to be able to communicate with them without any hassle. So things
Mm.
to think of. There's a just think out of the box. We say that, Natasha.
Mm.
Think out of the box. There's so many opportunity or sometimes things that we haven't explored.
Mm.
I think during this hybrid work model is a time for all of us, employee to explore things that we never explored before. I've seen some company even have international hiring now because of the hybrid work model. So they hire what you call it external party, yeah, without
Mm.
having a full time employment at home or even
Mm.
from overseas. So this is
Mm.
something that I can see quite become a trend now due to hybrid working model.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very interesting that from these very unfortunate circumstances, we are able to produce something so innovative in the end.
Yes, 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 yes. So,
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I think we kind of wrapped up and pointed out all the tools and tips and tricks for managers as well as companies to think about. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. Actually, if you all are interested to catch more of us and all the things we share around being a boss at work, definitely keep out on the next episode. And also remember to check in with the Google form in the description down below to get some free resources to help your company too. And once again, thank you so much, Emilia, for coming on the Work Boss podcast with me today.
all right, thank you.
All right, we'll see
See
you all
you.
on the next one. Bye.
Bye.